Okay, so we've put the red iron oxide on our T-bowl, on the exterior of the T-bowl, and now we are going to put glaze on the interior of the T-bowl. We've got these whisks. There's a 5-gallon bucket over here with a whisk in it, and this has got somewhat clean water in it. Pretty clean enough to get the whisk clean, and we're going to use this to stir our glazes. So I've got a glaze over here called Ripe Plum. Ripe Plum is a really pretty kind of a red color, and it has some white in it as well. I think Mr. Green is getting me a sample. This is the Ripe Plum, so it will be a very pretty kind of plum color with white accents. And so the interior of my T-bowl will have that color on the inside. We're going to set that off to the side. My Ripe Plum is sitting over here, and I have some cups with each one of them, and they are labeled. Please make sure that you do not mix these up. Each one of these buckets has a value of about $100 worth of chemicals. If we mix those up, we change those chemicals, and that's a problem. So we don't want to contaminate anything. We don't want to lose the glazes. All right, so I'm going to take the lid off my Ripe Plum. I'll set that on the ground next to it. I'll get a whisk and make sure it's clean. I'm going to inspect it and make sure there are no chunks of clay on there, or excuse me, of glaze. And now I'm going to bring that over and I'm going to stir up my Ripe Plum thoroughly. After I'm done stirring, I'm going to place that in the bucket, and now I have my plum cup. I'm going to hold this with my subordinate hand. So I'm right-handed, and I'm going to hold the bowl with my right hand, the cup with my left, and I'm going to pinch it on the corner like this, on the edge, on the corner of the edge. And then I'm going to dip this into the Ripe Plum glaze, and I have a full cup full. And I'm going to take my bowl, and I'm going to take a knee here in just 1 second because I'm going to pour this back into it. I'm going to pour the glaze into the bowl. I'm going to swish it around a little bit, turn it to try to cover all of the interior surface right up to the edge, and then I'm going to take it over to the 5-gallon bucket, and I'm going to pour it out and turn it as I dump. This needs to take place within about 5 seconds. It's a fast process. Fill that. Whoa. Turn it, and dump it. I'm gonna let that drip. And now if I've missed any area around here, if I missed a large area, I could take the cup, pour a small amount in, turn it, and pour it out that way. Or, with this, I'm going to dip the rim. So because I'm going to dip the rim, and I've missed such a small area, I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to have to pour any in. This area where I've bled over a little bit, I'm happy with. Wabi sabi. We're good to go. So now I'm going to dip the rim, and I'm going to take the pot and place it in for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Pick it up. Let that drip. I can turn it over. I might get another little drip, but I didn't on that one. So the interior is now glazed. Everything looks good. Full coverage on the entire interior. But now I've got to address my point of focal emphasis. And I have a couple options on this. I have this applique here. I have this applique here. I have one over here. I could have multiple points of focal emphasis, or I could say, you know what? I think this is going to be the one. And for me, I think that's going to be it. So now I'm going to move over to the other glazing station. Okay, over here we have a variety of glazes, and these are lower firing glazes, but we can subject them to our higher firing temperatures. So they sometimes do some interesting things. I've got pumpkin, which is an orange. I've got pink, green, a white, yellow, and this one over here called Daiquiri Freeze. And Daiquiri Freeze is like a very kind of pretty icy green with some teal in it. It's a very, very nice one, but they're all good. And we have brushes over here and clean water for those. So let's see, if I did Ripe Plum, orange is no good. I think pink's going to be a good one for that. So I'm going to use pink. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off my pink, grab my T-bowl, get a brush, tap that brush so we get as much water out as we can, wipe the edge too. I'm going to reach into my pink glaze, and I'm just going to put a splat on there. Now I could come over here and paint this multiple times. If I wanted to, I could paint it 3 times if I wanted to work in thin layers. But for me, with this process, I want a little wabi-sabi. I know that I've got this underneath here, I've got something that looks kind of like a little eye. So I'm just going to take my finger and wipe that back a little bit. Because I want to get some of that part that looks like an eye exposed. I could use a sponge as well. I could use a paper towel, whatever. But my finger was right there and it worked out just fine. There is a sponge over here, so if you want to touch that, you could. And I'm happy with this. This is going to be my point of focal emphasis. My interior is glazed. My exterior has red iron oxide on it. I've got a few little drips, a little wabi-sabi. So I'm happy with that. And now this is ready to go to the kiln. We do have to check one thing before we leave and make sure that the bottom is clean. So if there's any glaze on the bottom, we're going to take this sponge and wipe that off. If there's any glaze on the edge that comes within 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, we'll wipe that off too. And after that, this goes to the kiln room. We'll get them in the kilns. We'll get them fired today, and you will see them on Thursday.